And yeah, essentially I realized how I mean, to put it like clearly, how fucked up this world is, right? I was kind of reconnecting with what was my actual true self. I believe that sadness and joy slash happiness purely doesn't exist. It's just what we let our lives be. I feel like I did not need food, water, sleep, air. There's no such thing as death. It is a concept that humans will never understand nor accept. If it wasn't for Bogdan, I most probably have killed myself in that day. You are listening to The Grateful Show with your hosts Pascu
and Bogdan. Join us on our mission to spread awareness around mental health and make people feel happier and overall more grateful.
Each week, we bring you an inspiring guest, stories, and a message that will help you become your best self and pursue your life mission. Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Grateful Show. I hope you guys are doing amazing, and for the people watching, I hope you guys are enjoying those little clips that we are putting together for you to have a better experience with a podcast. So, if you're watching on YouTube, smash that thumbs up button, make sure you are subscribed, and yeah, keep watching slash keep listening. Right, so as you have probably already seen in the title, today's episode is going to be, I guess, a bit more different. And it's taken me almost a year to be able to fully decide that I'm ready to open up on this specific story because it's something very personable for me. It's definitely something that has played a huge role in my spiritual development, in my even physical development, and develop overall as a person ever since this thing happened. And I just want you to first, I want to first give you guys like a brief introduction into what the whole topic is about, and then I will actually dive into some personal notes that I wrote into my journal after that experience has happened. So those notes will be from May 2020, so May last year. uh but prior to that, I just want to give like a proper introduction so you guys know what to expect, because yeah, judging from the title, you might be like, what the hell has he been through, like what is this all about? So last year, obviously, we were all in lockdown. I was in London. I was with Bogdan in London, and I was working for a client that was really, really demanding. Now, this is one of the reasons for which I got to that point mentally, right? I was literally almost burning out. I was working a lot of hours. I'm talking probably 10, 11, 12 hours each day, all in front of my laptop from home. There was no gym open. You were not allowed to even train at outside workout stations. So all we had was to either try to sneak in at like 5 a.m. in the morning in those places, or else just try to do something at home. And the gym is definitely playing a huge role in my mental stability and my self-esteem and my body and soul all together. Therefore, for me, not having that gym has probably been like the first step for this thing to happen, right? We were very against everything that was happening in terms of like lockdowns. The whole world was upside down. The energies were different with the people we were talking to, with the people we had to interact with, and so on and so forth. So basically, in that period, what started happening to me was I started researching a lot of things. I would watch documentaries about the world elites. I would watch documentaries about the pedophiles in the Hollywood. I would watch a lot of documentaries that right now it's almost impossible to find because they've all been taken down or shadow banned from YouTube, from Vimeo, from everywhere really. And yeah, essentially I realized how I mean, to put it like clearly, how fucked up this world is, right? I realized how much suffering there was. I realized how a lot of people are really struggling to make a living and all that. And I think I just internalized all of that, I guess, pain of the world in myself for quite a bit, for like I would say close to 2 weeks. And at a time I was just seeing that I was working a lot, and basically what happened is I went through a series of days where I would fast a lot, like I would only eat one meal. And I think, if I remember correctly, the day that this happened, I was fasted for over 24 hours. So now one could argue that this whole experience was due to the fact that I haven't eaten. One could also argue that it was because of it, meaning, because I haven't eaten, I've been able to tap into something that isn't tappable otherwise. But yeah, long story short, I had a very weird experience, spiritual awakening, if you wish. But I'm going to read from my journal right now. This was the day that it happened. This was the day that it was basically happening. And it goes like this. I can definitely tell that I was not very sane, judging by the way I was writing. I remember at the time I was barely even able to write. I was like full of energy. So it goes like this. I really don't know how to start this today, but I guess all I can tell you is that it's 4:30 a.m. and I've just finished my meditation practice. Don't really know what I found, but I accessed an immense amount of energy. Basically, at a time, it was 4:30 in the morning. I was awake the whole night, or probably only slept for like 30 minutes or so. I haven't consumed any caffeine in that prior day to like keep me awake for that long of a period. I haven't tried to stay awake. It was just like very weird energy flowing to my body. Now, the following day, 24 hours or so later, the whole experience kind of, I guess, finished, more or less 90% of it. So I sat down and I wrote a couple of pages. I'm going to read everything. I'm not gonna keep anything out of this podcast. I just want to give you guys the actual truth and everything I was thinking about at the time, right? Try to take it with a grain of salt, because obviously I was going through, like, I guess, a very big shift in energy, perspective, and I guess spiritual levels overall. Therefore, my mindset and my perception upon what has happened back then was slightly different from what it is now. Anyways, here it goes. Right, I'm not gonna try to interpret or give definite meaning to anything that has happened yesterday. In fact, I'm gonna start by saying that I was sleep deprived, fasted for about 20 hours, and had minimal amount of food in the last 5 days. With that, I have to add that the most deep levels of awareness were happening when I was depriving myself of oxygen. In fact, I will start with the first moments of that morning. It was about 4 a.m. and I knew I was supposed to sleep. But at the same time, I knew deep down that I still had to discover a few other things until going back to the usual human life. When I decided to meditate, I sat beside my bed and I did not think I wanted to achieve anything by doing so. I closed my eyes and started to breathe slowly, without trying to breathe too much oxygen at a time. I was kind of reconnecting with what was my actual true self. This self was very stoic, and in fact, I could say that this self could never be fully accepted if one distracts his mind, his consciousness, with things such as music, social media, pleasures such as sex, alcohol, etc. I could keep going, but in fact, you can find these forbidden pleasures in the Bible. Whilst meditating, I felt like slowly but surely I was accessing an enormous field of energy. It was my mind's energy. I can't define this energy as coming through the body, as that would make no sense. I was going deeper and deeper inside this state without letting myself get in the way. Yes, I said myself because now I believe that each of us has a purpose or mission in life. Um, right. Pay attention how I didn't say happy. Sorry, I think I missed a few lines. So, purpose in life. And each time we don't embrace that purpose, well, we aren't fulfilled. Pay attention how I didn't say happy. In fact, I believe that sadness and joy slash happiness purely doesn't exist. It's just what we let our lives be. Therefore, you could now say that life has no absolute meaning, but we give it meaning, and that meaning has to be definite. Being in that call, uh, Being in that call it transcendence state, I realized that the only way to have contact with my true self is to be in complete calm. And I don't mean calm physically or mentally, I mean complete absolute calm spiritually. Okay, but what is this spirituality? You might ask. It is everything that it can be. It is based on belief, and I don't mean false belief, I mean pure calm and absolute belief. I don't remember every detail of that morning, therefore I will only write what I lived and believe that was true. Things such as water, trees, materials were feeling very unusual. I felt love and acceptance between me and these things. During the whole experience, I felt a deep, deep connection with water. It felt like, in fact, I was water. It got to the point where I truly believed that I was water and could not feel my organs anymore. I could only feel the water. It felt like I could center my entire reality from electronic devices to sounds around me. I felt like I did not need food, water, sleep, air. It felt like I was in such a clean, deep, and calm state that the best thing I could have done was to die, depleting my body of oxygen. Bogdan guided me through this whole experience. It started to be very strange and deep in the afternoon. In fact, assumed 5 p.m., which is, in fact, I think it says around 5 p.m., which is 1700. Um, can't really understand what I've written here, but it says something like, at that point, it got to the at that time it got to the point where I started questioning reality. I was afraid that there was nothing real. Nothing. I felt like everything around me was one, and I could almost feel this one connecting together. Thing I saw things that I cannot explain with words, and also have lived experiences that cannot be backed up by science. Okay, so what have I learned? First, we give life meaning ourselves. Second, the ultimate state is full acceptance. Third, we are one with every little particle, living being, atom. We are connected. Fourth, we must not let goals, objectives, and especially material possessions get in our way. The more we let that happen, the more we run away from our higher selves. Fifth, there's no such thing as death. It is a concept that humans will never understand nor accept. The soul does never die. The body is a vehicle for the soul. The body is not the soul. The mind is not the soul, and consciousness is how we connect to our higher self. Sixth, our mission is to deeply care for other people during this thing we call life. Life is not a journey, it is a process. and then I have my signature and the date 14th of May 2020. Now, yeah, it got me back to to that moment in time, and I can clearly say that it got me a bit emotional as well reading through the pages. I can say for sure that I've read this twice before. I read it once myself, probably like 2 months after. I read it to my girlfriend, probably like 6 months after it happened, and I read it once again now, a third time, almost 12 months ago, 11 months ago to be exact. Yeah, that was my experience, and to make it really clear, not to like give like just to give credit or anything, but if it wasn't for Bogdan, I most probably have killed myself in that day. And I'm saying that because my mind was so full of this whole, I guess, new perception of reality that I was literally, for like 2 hours or so, I was literally trying to kill myself, but not like kill myself like in the literal sense of like stabbing myself with a knife. No, I was trying to deprive myself of oxygen, because it just felt right. It just felt like I just had to give up this whole reality that we call life. And it was almost feeling like I was going on to the other side, and it was almost feeling like I could tap into that other side. And it was also feeling like I was meant to do it. It felt like a sacrifice. It felt like something that had to be done because I had the realization, therefore I was ready to go on to the other side. And I was almost certain that by dying, I was not dying. I was just transcending to another dimension or reality, or call it whatever. But yeah, guys, again, take it with a grain of salt. Just to like be very, very honest and true to you, those were the exact words I've written on that day. Those were the exact, I guess, feelings and perceptions of myself a year ago. That's what I knew to be real at the time. Even like nowadays, I can't really understand what happened back then. I can't really explain what happened. I know for a fact that it can't really be explained through scientific research or scientific, I guess, reasoning. It was very interesting. It was very eye-opening. I can clearly say that ever since, my life has not completely changed, but taken a different path. I can definitely say that ever since I started to lean more into my true self, and as much as I do realize that this whole podcast is about me and my experience, and right now it feels a bit selfish to know that you guys are all just listening to this story, I hope that it gave you, I guess, a different perception. It gave you one more reason to try to accord a bit more attention to meditation and to your spiritual being, because right now, with everything that I know, I've been through, experienced, and know to be true, I truly believe that we are just physical bodies having a spiritual experience. I clearly do believe that this thing, what we call life, is just a co-created illusion. It's like a dream. And if you want to learn more about this topic, and if you want to go, I guess, into a self-exploration by yourself, I cannot recommend enough Alan Watts and his books, his YouTube, I guess, videos. There's a lot of videos with himself talking about all of those things, and also Dr. Joe Dispenza. His book Supernatural, and there's also Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Those two guys I cannot recommend enough for you to dive into and to explore what is possible for us humans. But yeah, it's clearly been a bit exhausting to tell you guys this story. Emotionally exhausted, not physically exhausting, because as I was mentioning, it's really something that I consider very personal, and with 2 or 3 exceptions of people that I really trust and love in my life, no one knows about this, and of course not even my parents. So I would really, I guess, appreciate if you could keep this to yourself, and not just brag about this whole, I guess, story to people that are not open to the whole idea and notion. But either way, I would really appreciate if you could share it with knowledgeable people, open-minded people that can take this with a grain of salt and appreciate, I guess, my experience. But yeah, with that said, is 11 11 1 1 1 1 right now, looking at the clock. And yeah, that was my experience. I am Pascu. I hope you guys took something out of this solo podcast. And until next time, stay grateful. Thank you so much for sticking all the way till the end. This shows that you are serious about taking your life to the next level and doing that through a perspective of gratitude. If you enjoyed this interview, it would help us massively if you could give us a 5-star rating review on iTunes, or else share this on your stories and tag us. This way, with your help, our message will be seen by more people and together we will make this world a better place.